All right, welcome to the Beyond Coaching podcast. Today we've got Christian Vasquez. He's got a garage gym. He's a USAW coach, and he has 6 athletes headed to the American Open. Christian built willpower strength conditioning one lifter at a time. Today, we're going to dig into youth development, simple coaching language, and how to grow a training business the right way. How you doing, Christian?
Good. Thank you guys so much for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, of course.
How are you
100%,
guys
man.
doing?
100%. So walk us through, from being a CrossFit coach back in 2014 to a weightlifting coach now and having your own business.
Yeah, for sure. So when I was a CrossFit coach, I was still in school taking classes and stuff like that. So it was like go to class, go to the gym, go home. That was like my entire day. No responsibility, still lived at home. It was actually like the best thing ever. And of course, grow up, gotta have a life and stuff like that outside of just going to school and going to the gym. So, and now specifying more with weightlifting is definitely a little bit more direct because, as we all know, it's just snatch, it's just clean and jerk. Whereas in CrossFit, you're not 100% sure what the competition is going to be. You don't know the movements. Even judging can be pretty here and there in like CrossFit competitions that I've been to, that I've seen. Whereas weightlifting is just extremely cut and dry and way more direct, and honestly a heck of a lot easier to coach and to program for, because boring is the foundation to get better to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I've not heard that, but it's very true.
Yeah. And
100%.
one of my high school football coaches told me that. I was like, Coach, why do you keep doing the same step drill? Why do we keep doing that? He was like, because in the game, that's exactly what you're going to do. And we're going to do this for the next 45 minutes. Boring is the foundation of getting better. Trust me.
Nice.
And
Nice.
honestly, it's something that's held true in every step of my life when it comes to strength and conditioning.
Do you ever miss the variety and excitement that CrossFit offered?
I do. I definitely do miss the variety, but at the same time, I don't miss how my body felt because of all the variety.
Oh yeah.
Like no matter how well I ate, stretched, hydrated, like the body was just kind of beat up here
Yeah.
and there. But with weightlifting, of course, you're going to have some nicks, some bumps, and beat up, but you kind of know exactly what you're getting into. It's like, hey, we're squatting. Hey, we have some pulls today. Hey, we may have some position cleans or snatches or something
Mhm.
today. Whereas, like, okay, we had toes to bar, double unders, handstand push ups, and then maybe we don't see those for like 2 weeks or something like that. So, like, the progression gets thrown off, but that really does in any sport come down to coaching, because I've seen really well programmed CrossFit gyms where the progression is steady and people actually do improve. And on the other hand, same with weightlifting, I've seen it where it's like, oh, let's just try this because we saw it at the CrossFit game. So we're going to give this a go. And then we're going to, in a 1 hour window, we're going to fit in our warm up. We're going to fit in our like 10, 12-minute Oli session. We're going to do our Metcon, and then we're going to do some core and accessory work. And then it almost gave people a false hope, like, oh, yeah, we're doing all this. We can go to the CrossFit Games. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not going to happen. Honestly, I was one of those people too.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure, man. So you run like a lean solo shop. How do you
Yeah.
deliver such a big experience from a garage gym setting?
So for me, it's all about communication. So like I can just sit there, just watch and be like, oh, yeah, good job. Yeah, back a little tighter, this and that. But being able to actually have some kind of friendship, some kind of personality with whoever it is that I'm coaching, whether it's a young weightlifter, an older individual, like my neighbor actually, who just started training with me. She's older, and just having some kind of relationship with them where it's not just physical fitness. They actually enjoy coming to work out, because it's not this grand, like 4-car garage. It's all decked out, all the craziest equipment possible, like 30 people working out. It's just me and that other person. So I have to make it as good and positive an experience as I possibly can, from what we're actually doing in the workout to just how we communicate between sets, how I really help them improve on their next set, and so on and so forth.
Definitely. You, one of the things that we talked about is you pride yourself on simplicity, simple cues,
Yeah.
on client understanding. Take us through what that means for you.
Yeah, so especially in this day and age, social media takes over, and it's like everyone wants to flex their brain. It's like, oh, I have these degrees, I weightlifted for this long, like all these crazy terms. And to me, it's like you've got to be able to explain something to someone that's literally never done this before. And that's how I kind of approach it, no matter how experienced an athlete or a weightlifter is. Just, hey, it's as simple and direct as possible. Instead of talking about, oh yeah, your scapula this, your shoulder girdle that, blah, blah, blah. Like, hey, just maybe bring the shoulders down a little bit. Or hey, can you try to like pinch my fingers with your shoulder blades right here? Like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do that. Cool. Awesome. And if they're able to do it, might not be on the next set, but if it's something they're thinking about and trying to improve upon, it's like, awesome. You got it. You don't need to know all these crazy terms and all the lingo. If you want to, by all means, I'll explain it to you, but I don't need to explain it to you for you to lift better right then and there. It's like trying to overcomplicate walking down the street. You
I
don't need to
know,
do it. You just need to know how to walk down the street.
that reminds me of a very well-known coach that I used to, I still know, but I'm not gonna say who he is because you'd probably know right away. But I remember him coaching a kid one time, and this kid was like 13 and trying to do a power clean, and he kept saying to the kid, he's like, "Come on, like fire your hip flexors and retract your hips. Fire your hip flexors, retract your hips, retract your hips." And the kid's just like, gangly, and like he stops and he's like, "I don't know what that means. What do you mean? Right?
Yeah.
Trace my hips." And he's like confused. He's like, I mean like squat down. And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
It's like,
Just
it's just like
simplicity.
just like trying to be too, like exactly what you're saying, like trying to be too like, this is the scientific, like, speaking Latin or something. And the kid is just like, "I don't know what that means." And he's like, "I mean squat down," and the kid got it. But it
Like,
was
oh,
like, yeah, you see it even at that level, highest level, people just do weird stuff sometimes.
yeah. And I even have a chiropractor and a couple of physicians, like people that are in the health profession that know all the lingo, know all that. And even with them, I'm still just like, hey, hips a little lower in your setup. Like, that's it. Just simplicity is going to be the best way to get better as well. Boring.
Where does that come from? Like, what is your background that got you to sort of like, did you have a coach like that, or did you learn it somewhere?
Yeah, so when I was at the University of Buffalo, I was still doing CrossFit, and that's kind of when I started transitioning into more of the weightlifting background. My coach there, Steve Titus, he was just very direct. He was like, "Hey, just do this, just do that. Don't worry about this or that. Don't worry about all these fancy things." And he was the one that said, "Hey, I want you to just focus on one thing for today, and it's going to be this. It could be something as simple as I want you to keep your head up in your setup. Like I want you gaze forward. I don't want you looking down." And that I think really stuck with me with all the athletes that I've had that have stayed consistent with programming and coaching. They've made really good progression, whether it's on the competition platform, like on the football field, track, the ball, whatever it may be. Like sports are extremely complicated to begin with. Like, you go into a football meeting, you're like, oh my God, my head's gonna spin. So coaching it should be try to be as simple as possible because
Right.
that's how they're gonna remember. And that's how I remembered even like in class.
Yeah, 100%. One of the big lessons you mentioned to me was that you can't make everyone happy. What story? Tell us a story that drove that home for you.
Yeah, so being a coach in businesses, like different kinds of whether it's CrossFit gyms or commercial gyms or like privately owned gyms that are open to the public, I've had bosses or gym owners that would it's like, hey, it's my way, that's it. I've had owners and that would be like, hey, you know what? We're gonna try to appease to everyone. We're gonna make everything. Oh, you want it this way? Okay. Oh, you want it that way? All right. Oh, you want this? The little things from like literally the types of toilet paper. Yeah. Crazy
Right.
conversation there. To like programming philosophy. Oh, we should do more strength, this and that. And I found that the ones who would try to appeal to every single person are the ones that ended up having the hardest time with themselves because they would just be so stressed out, all these kinds of things like, oh my God, I got to make John Doe happy. But if I do that, it's going to make Jane Doe unhappy. How do I make her happy? It's like, and then the owners who were just like, you know what? This is how we're going to do it. It's proven to work, which is a very important thing. It's proven to work. We're going to do it this way. If you're not a fan of it, it's okay. You don't have to be here. It's like, hey, we're weightlifting or we're strength training or even just doing CrossFit. This is how we do it. And it's proven to work. Injuries are way down because all health and wellness, like the number one thing is injury prevention. Like, no, if you get hurt, you can't do anything. So it's like, this is how we do it. And it's proven to work. If you're not on board with it, that's okay. I don't take offense to it. Just you can go and do your own thing. And
Yeah.
those are the types of people that have really succeeded way more than the others who try to like be friendly to everyone, because you can't. It doesn't matter what you do. There's always going to be that one person in the room that's like, yeah, I don't really like what they're doing there. So why, like, if there's 100 people in a room and 99 people are on board with what you're doing, but you're going to change everything up for that one person, it's not going to benefit you whatsoever.
So what would your red flag be for when an athlete's like not the right fit for your program? Just they're
Yeah.
not
So,
willing to do the plan as written, or what do you think?
yeah. So I'm all for like little deviations in programming here and there. So like, oh, hey, I'm feeling really good today. Like, I don't know, my max snatch for the day was like 80%. I went up to 85% and I nailed it for 2. Awesome. Great. But if it's like, hey, I just didn't feel like snatching today, so I just did some clean pulls. It's like, well, that's a little bit of a thing. And so I try to just have as direct a conversation as possible. It's like, hey, number one, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to get out of whether it's weightlifting or overall strength and conditioning? 2, what don't you like about what's going on right now? And if it's something reasonable, like, oh, I just think the volume is a little too high or too low, it's like, okay, I can adjust that. But if they're like, I just don't think anything you're programming right now is really going to benefit me, from movements to volume, it's like, okay, well, hey, you're not my guinea pig right now. You're not the first person I'm doing this with. So, okay, these are the suggested adjustments I can do for your programming moving forward that'll still benefit you. And if they're still not on board with that, it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe this coach athlete relationship isn't the best fit. Maybe I know another coach that may fit you a little bit better, because my goal is still the goals of the athlete. So, whatever it may be, it's like, hey, this person may suit you a little better than me when it comes to maybe a coaching personality, programming philosophy, whatever it may be. And I have no problem letting them just go on and do whatever it is they have to do, whether it's with me or without me. That's fine with me.
Yeah, I have an interesting story about that too. So we had a client, or actually they were twins, compete at Raw Nationals this last year. Both incredible athletes. Actually won the she definitely won at juniors. I don't know if she won the Open. Her coach was one of my coaches, and they would oftentimes request changes to their program. That, you know, whether they were training in, they weren't really training at the gym much. They were at one of the local colleges, training there a lot.
Mm.
But they, whether maybe they were learning from other people or whatever, they were always asking for changes to the program. And so at some point along the way, really the program was just a reflection of, my coach just became their admin person of what they wanted in the program. So we just started obliging with like every change. And I believe that, like, look, if a client hates safety bar squats and they want to do something else, like, okay, like we can probably find another movement that gets us the same results, that is something that someone enjoys.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
at some point we have to put our foot down. And so what happened was, the program was like their version of what they wanted the program to be. And then like after national won the meet, and then like was like, okay, yeah, we want a coach that's going to like write the program with the way we want it. And I'm like, whoa, hold on.
I was in that
We were
same
just,
situation recently.
we were
too.
doing that. And so what I advised my coach, I was like, you know, honestly, man, like we probably should have put our foot down. And he kind of was like, well, I thought, you know, you've always taught me to be like, you know, oblige, good customer service. Like, let's make sure we're serving the client first. And I was like, you know, 100, I totally get that. But I think what happened was we almost devalue our expertise by bending over backwards at every point. There has to come a time where it's like, okay, either you listen to me to some regard, like we can be collaborative. If there's a high level athlete, we can collaborate on this, but it can't just be, I'm not just your admin that I'm just going to go write out what you think is best, because then it's like, well, what's the point? You don't even need me anymore. And that's kind of what happened. It devalued him as a coach. And so I think that's an interesting point, and something we've had experience with as well.
Yeah, that very similar situation where it was like a remote athlete rather. She was doing real well, competed at the American Open, got a couple medals, like doing great, and was pain free. Like one of her issues was her knees were killing her all the time. It's like, hey, you're still hitting really good percentages in your lifts, and you're doing them at a more consistent rate, and you're feeling better. Like to me, progress isn't just what's on the bar. So it's like, hey, you're doing extremely well. But she was like, you know what? I just don't feel like I'm progressing well. I just don't really agree with it. So I was like, you know what? I explained to her basically what I just said, and she didn't really agree with it. So I was like, you know what? Hey, go ahead. That's fine. Here are weightlifting gyms in your area. Here are other
Damn.
coaches. Yeah.
Fucking
So
rough.
and I didn't mean it like with malice by any means. I did it more so to try to help her out. Like, hey, here are other weightlifting coaches in your area that you can go to. Maybe you can talk with them, anything like that. And hopefully, whatever you're looking for with weightlifting, you can find it that you didn't find with me. And I'm fine with that. Like, I've learned to not take anything personal. when it comes to being a business owner, essentially, even things down to like, well, I don't want to pay this much per month. It's like, well, I'm not going to budge. Like these are my fees. Like it's just,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Max,
It's
I'm
like, oh,
intrigued to see what your experience has been like with the whole athletes demanding changes and stuff like that.
I got 2 or 3 examples. In the moment, depending on the person, I've had people that will do whatever and they'll be like, I'll catch them. I'll be like, hey, you're going like way heavier on the squat. And they'll be like, yeah, well, I want to get stronger. And then and then what I say all the time, I usually say, my best squat's 330 kilos, 335. What's your best squat? And they'll be like, it's 150. Like, oh, I wonder if I know more about squatting than you. More just, more joking. And they'll usually,
it's like, there's a reason coaches coach.
Yeah, it's more just tongue in cheek. But on the point of people asking for different stuff, I have had people ask me to write the program a certain way. And they'll be like, I think we need, like, they'll be like, a good example is like, when I pull the bar off the floor, I'm not very tight. Like, I want you to program exercises for that. Like, how do I fix that? And I'm like, the answer is you stay tight. Like that's you just doing the thing correctly. And then I've also had people, well, they're like yours, where it's like, they're just giving so much, do this, do this, do this. Like they're trying to write the program through you. And to me, I always pick that up as they're not receiving something that makes them feel confident in what I'm giving them. And they feel they need to do it differently and they feel they need to take control. And that could come from shit that's happened to them in their past as a person. And I'm not equipped to deal with that. It could be that I'm not communicating well enough. Like, hey, we do this for this reason. And that's going to be the thing you need to get better. And if you don't believe that, like, we need to sit down until you do understand why this is going to make you better. But again, like, yeah, it's like, it's a tough thing. And it's like, it kind of goes back to what you guys did, which is like, you got to sort of stand your ground as a coach, because people will test and they'll push because they lose confidence in themselves and they want to lash out at something. So they have to be like, oh, it's the coach or the program, right? Winning medals at American Open, then coming back, like, I'm not progressing as quickly as I want. And if you ask them like, hey, well, what rate of progress should you get? If they can't answer that, it's not about the progress, it's about something else, right? It's like, then where should you be? And they're going to go to some other coach and they're not going to get there because it's never going to be enough. And then it's always everyone else's fault, right? So it's tough in some cases, right? I think it's always important to stand your ground, but as a coach, be able to defend your position, right? Like, why are we doing this? We do it this way for this reason. And that might not be something you agree with this second, but that's what I know to be right because of all my experience and knowledge, my time.
Yeah, absolutely. Explaining to the athlete is such an important thing when they're curious. It's like, oh, hey, why are we doing sets of 4 back squats today? It's like, hey, we're doing it because X, Y, Z, whatever, right? And like you said, if the athlete doesn't really want to budge on it, if they're like, oh, well, I think I want to do this instead, I'm going to get stronger my way. It's like, fine, there's a door. There's a door. You can go get stronger your way, and I'm not going to be a part of it. And that's fine. Like, go do what you want to do. And guess what? Maybe in a year or 2 years, you might come back. If you don't, you don't. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And that's how I am as a coach, as a business owner. It's just, can't lose sleep on people who don't want to be there.
I'm curious if you've experienced this, because you have a very small space. How much of how you behave in front of and with some athletes trickles down to other clients you have, where it's like, if you're seen as a pushover by some, or you're seen as too aggressive by some, other athletes see that and they pick up on it. So it's like, the way you behave, I think it's super important to be extremely consistent, right? You've got to be the same person every day. You can go feel one way up and down, but like, your integrity is built on the decisions you make and how you behave. So, do you find it in a small space like that? It's tough when someone comes in and it's like, you might make a little compromise here or there, but if it slips a couple degrees, have you ever had the experience of it? Like, yeah, I gave into this and this, and then 4 people left because they all felt like, whatever, this guy's, I don't trust him now because he did this and that with this athlete, right?
Yeah, so I haven't experienced that because in the area, there are several fitness facilities. Like, there's a bigger CrossFit gym. There's a few privately owned gyms. And I've kind of like dipped my feet into all of them, or know people, even know lots of members that go there. And since moving here from New York, it's kind of like they know what I'm about at this point. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll joke around with you, like, yeah, awesome, great job. But when it comes down to it, it's like, hey, I need you're gonna hit this snatch. Like, it's like, yeah. And if they miss it, I just want them to know, one, it's not the end of the world. You're gonna get another one.
Right.
It's okay. But two, I'm not just gonna like sugarcoat it and pat the back of your head like, oh, it's okay. It's like, hey, this is what happened. This is what needs to be fixed. This is what we're gonna think about when we go into our next set, next training session, next training block, whatever it is. And I'm not gonna move from that. Like they kind of know, hey, yeah, I can joke around, but I'm gonna be stern with you too.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're the athlete's performance is, I feel like, one of the truest reflections of their coach.
Yeah.
Because if the athlete
100%.
isn't performing well consistently, because all athletes have bad days, like there are athletes that have bombed out at competitions before, or like missed all their shots in basketball, or tripped on the track. Like it happens. But if it's a consistent thing that's going on, it's
Right.
going to be a poor reflection on the coach.
Yeah.
So if a coach is a pushover and gives in a lot, the results are going to reflect that. And I think it's really obvious to see, maybe not then and there, but in a macro view of things, like, okay, I think this coach took it a little easy on this person compared to that person, or just overall in their philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
100%. One of the things you mentioned about USAW and like meet culture shifts. So you've said national meets feel more relaxed and fun now. What changed and why does it matter?
I think actually it's been social media, because social media, like there are really good things about it, but for every one good thing, there's like 1,000 terrible things about it when it comes to like strength and conditioning, fitness, lifting, all that stuff. But I think the massive emergence of social media has, I think, really influenced USAW to have more of like an open mind with creativity, emotion, personality, things like that. Whereas before it was like, all right, you're in the warm up area, stern, like probably no music playing either. Even at local level meets, like dead silence unless it's the bar dropping or something like that. Whereas now I feel like it's a little more loose. Like you can get back there, warm up area, even like people in the same warm up area, I feel like can be a little bit more friendly too. Whereas before, like I was at a meet where another coach literally like took all my change plays because they said they needed it for their barbell. And I was like, yo, what's going on? Like you could ask me to borrow like the blues or something. Yeah, whatever. We share a platform. And it's definitely a little bit more loose. Like at the national events I've been to, I've actually made some really good connections with coaches all over the country, like Seattle, down in Arizona, Texas, wherever. And showcasing athletic personality, I think, is huge because, like I said, for social media, but then also just letting the athlete be expressive, because weightlifting and all sports, there's a lot that builds up over time. And when you finally accomplish that big goal or big feat, it's like, you got to let it out. Like whether it's a yell, whether it's a big old foot stomp. I've seen a couple people do a backflip on the platform before, like, or a split. Like there's just something that needs to happen for you to express yourself. And I think USAW over the last several years has definitely taken a positive step in doing so. Because like when I first started watching weightlifting, I think I'm with a big percentage of the population that started out with Cal strength videos, like watching John North hit a solid snatch and then just go absolutely nuts. And it was awesome. Like it drew people in. And I was like, okay. And then there was like a period where it was very like stern, like too stern, where it was very like, hey, you can't do this, or you shouldn't do this, or it's kind of frowned upon if you do that. Like, no, we really don't want to hear the yelling and stuff if the bars are down. Like, we don't really need to hear that. And then it kind of got back to, hey, it's okay to be loud. It's okay to have some personality, be over anxious or anything like that. And I feel like that's been a real good positive. And so I'm now thankful of social media because it's something they can showcase worldwide.
Nice.
Max, I'm interested in your opinion as a former Cal strength guy yourself.
I mean, On got all that from Klokov when he saw it on Klokov doing it, you know? So it trickled down from there. I agree. Like, I mean, I think over the years, it goes through phases. You know, I think for a bit of time, like 2016 to 2020 was like the most intense weightlifting in the country. Like there were so many strong teams and so many people fighting, and it was so much like social media and everything had come together to like really build this up to be this like, who's going to make the team, like who's going to get in the Olympics, like everything was a big deal. And like we started to get a lot of good, talented lifters come up. And now it's like, it's almost like the talented lifters are so far away from everybody else. Like there's no national level girl that's going to beat Olivia Reeves. She's Olympic champion and she beat North Korea and China. Like she's a mile ahead of everybody. And Hampton Morris, like he doesn't have a competitor in the US. So it's this funny thing now where it's almost like it's so elevated that like everybody else is like, well, I guess we're all here, so we'll have fun. You know, it's a little more relaxed, right? Because like they know like there's no chance. It's not like there's 4 girls fighting. It's like one person a mile ahead. So I think that does kind of, lend itself to that vibe being a lot more casual is the wrong word, but like about the fun, about doing the activity, enjoying it more, and not it being this like everyone is like trying to beat everybody else because there's 1 kilo that separates 9 people, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I remember, obviously training at Juggernaut around, when you were coaching some of the lifters over there for Olympic weightlifting. And obviously there's some really strong people, especially if they were visiting for a camp too. There's tons of them.
Yep.
But I remember like based on who was lifting, I was like walking on eggshells around because I was like, is this person going to murder me if I like walk in front of them or if I make a noise or whatever it was. And it was crazy, man. I mean, the culture was.
It's like, don't you sit in that corner over there. That's my like lucky empty corner or something.
Yeah.
And if you're a woman, who knows? He might yell at you.
For real.
Wild times. Yeah. It's different. I think I'm curious to see, like, there's a lot of coaches and a lot of athletes in weightlifting right now that it feels like it's missing the mark on. There's this whole collection of people that love doing this. And it feels sometimes like USAW is kind of just like throwing them like, hey, we have a 2,000 person meet. Come do it. It's in some weird city. Instead of it being like, maybe we need more of a different system, like a league or something, because everyone's like at the same level. You're not going to get like this battle as much. So make it a little more interesting and cater to those people because that's where like the core business is, right? Yeah. Beer gardens and pizza. That's what I'm thinking, stripper poles maybe at some meets.
Well, you went to, it was funny. I was watching the USAPL regionals live stream. I know you were there in Vegas. And it was hilarious. I'm watching this live stream because we had some lifters going. And on the live stream, they're talking about like the drinks that they're selling. Like, get the deadlift it's better. The deadlift daiquiri, and the machine chest press margarita. Like, I don't know. I'm like, what is happening here?
You know what's funny? I will point out 2 things. There was a lot. They put a ton into that. And it was like really cool thing. But it was like one of the problems was like, those events are hard to be at for 6 hours and just sit in a chair and watch. I was in Austria a month or 2 ago, and we went to a meet, and it was in like an airplane hangar on like an airstrip, and it was the opposite setup. It was like a dozen, maybe 15 or 20 tables with like a beer garden on one side, pizza ovens on the other, coffee, food. And it was like awesome. People were just sitting there all day, like hanging out, eating, enjoying it, watching it. And there was like a very tiny seating section. So it was almost like you're in a beer hall and everyone's having a time of their life watching weightlifting. And it was like a totally different setup, but really cool. It was like way more focused on like the audience being there and hanging out and enjoying it. Cause they're all just watching this thing. And it was, no one was, particularly good. It wasn't like they were super high level lifters, but it was a fun event.
I think a lot of meet directors and federations can learn from that. I mean, we put on meets and like there's only so much you can do at the local level to make a meet super enjoyable to watch. I mean, we pack people in, and of course people aren't showing up. Like no one shows up to the local meet to be like, man, I just really love powerlifting. I'm gonna go watch this event today. It's like it's the mom
like
of
family,
and then the 3 sisters and then the 2 best friends.
100%.
And what's funny is my morning sessions that are usually all female, they bring the most amount of people. Like the female lifters have like 8 guests that come watch them and bring them flowers and stuff. And then you get to like the heavy men in the afternoon and the gym's like empty because like no one cares.
Like it's my girlfriend. That's
just my girlfriend.
And she's like so bored sitting in the chair on her phone the whole time, just like, well, you can feel the energy of like, he has to take her to the nicest restaurant after that, like, and apologize for having her sit there all day. She'll be like, she'll ask some question like, how much did you do on the leg press? Like,
or like, when's it over?
Congrats,
you here third squad. Do we get to go now?
Is that it?
Where are we going? Where are we going?
5 more hours.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
Oh man. All right. So, real quick too, let's talk social media and business growth, Christian. So out of curiosity, who's what's the makeup of clients? I know you have youth, you have some masters. What does it look like for you?
It's kind of all over. And for youth on social media, not really, just because it's social media. Like I wouldn't want the kids to be on there super young, but
Yeah.
kind of a good blend. Older, college age, like 30s, high school athletes, stuff like that, men, women, like kind of all over the place.
Definitely. And one of the things, you mentioned, and from looking at your stuff, it's like you post to help people, not to chase likes. What has that done for building trust with your community?
Yeah, so like my background, my college degree is in kinesiology. So just learning about the human body, learning about all this stuff has really helped me with being a coach. And I want to be able to help people the same way as a coach. So it's not like giving a runaround or this super controversial thing. Like I guarantee you if I made a post that said, if you wear a weightlifting belt when squatting, you're not really strong. I guarantee I'm going to get a lot of
Yeah.
people talking about that one. Whereas instead, I could flip that around and say the benefits of wearing a belt, like pros and cons of that. Or like when should you wear a belt when you're back squatting, or like if you have back pain, a belt isn't going to fix the back pain. We have to kind of address that in a different way outside of squatting or something like that. Or hey, here are some mobility drills for your ankles. If you have tight hips, let's open these up before you're snatching today, something like that. Because I like being the coach that can just help someone, because that one little change can really spark a big difference. Like, oh man, my ankle mobility is better. That means my squat position is a lot better. Man, if I'm squatting, if my torso is a little bit higher, if my knees are tracking over a little bit more with the toes, if my hips are down, maybe I can lift a little bit more weight now, or hey, that's going to translate over to my cleans a little better. So it's like just that one little tip can really go a long way with helping an athlete, whether they're a weightlifter, a basketball player, or just like your everyday gym goer, like they work the 9 to 5, go work out 5:30 to 6:30 or something like that. Just trying to be healthier, trying to have a better lifestyle, things like that. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
like I don't care about the likes. I don't care about having thousands of followers and things like that. Just put out good, helpful information, tips that can go for weightlifting, athletics, overall health and wellness, whatever it may be.
100%, man.
That's
Well, hey,
cool.
so I want to transition us to my rapid fire question segment. So I've got 4 questions for you to round off this episode here. So number 1, first of all, and I want you to answer these tight, maybe a few sentences max. So number 1 is, what is your favorite accessory movement to program and why?
All right, so barbell accessory movement, just a basic shoulder press, just
Nice.
basic shoulder press.
Right.
Non-barbell, love if they have access to it, a reverse hyperextension.
So this might answer this, but let's see. Most underrated piece of equipment in a garage gym outside of a rack and the barbell.
Kettlebell.
Interesting.
Kettlebell, just its diversity is great, and I mean they're so easily stowed away off to the side. They're not going to take up a 10 by 10 footprint.
This might also answer this question. Under $100 purchase that paid off the most for you in the garage gym.
Oh man, actually the big whiteboard that I have, I get
That's a
to
good
write
one.
everyone's work. What I usually do is whoever I have for the week, like start on Monday, on Sunday, I'll write out everyone's workout on there. Don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week, and that's paid off. So saves so much time.
Nice.
I love it, man. And last one here is finish this sentence. A great coach is someone who blank.
Believes in their athletes.
Nice.
I
That's
love that,
good.
I
man.
feel
Love it.
if a coach doesn't believe their athlete can do it, their athlete's not going to do it. Like, of course, coaches get surprised all the time. Like, holy crap, maybe we took a really big jump here, but they still had some belief that they could do it. If you don't believe in your athletes, they're going to find out eventually, and they're not going to believe in you as a coach, and then there's just separation.
I like that.
That's it. You
Yeah.
got to believe in your athletes.
100%, man. Well, Christian, we appreciate your time. Thanks for being on the show.
Of course, thank you so much for having me on. Maybe sometime down the road we'll do it again, some
Oh, 100%.
more topics and everything like that.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you.
Of course.